Hi everybody, this is Andreas Nest, business coach. So today I will be talking to Roland and Garrick Hedges, and they run a company called Phishing Forensics. And I just wanted to learn more about what is it all about, cybersecurity and everything they do. It sounds really intriguing. So I wanted to meet them to learn more. So Garrick, thanks for meeting me. Much appreciated.
Nice to meet
Roland.
you. Hello.
So tell me more about your company. What is this all about? Cybersecurity? So where did it all start?
Okay, well, several years ago, I'd been running a online marketing business, web design, this kind of thing, and my clients were actually beginning to get hacked more frequently, and I wanted to be able to help them with the right kind of advice. So I realised then that there was a need for a simplification of all the information that they needed, and so this is the origins of our business.
Great.
From that point.
And I think you said a bit earlier when I was spoken to you before the interview that you more or less niched into it, and it was by accident really, was it? Because what did you do before you started this company? Just before?
Oh, it was with web design.
Design,
and online marketing. Yes.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Got that.
Yes.
And so you niched into this cybersecurity. You then did training for it, I take it?
Well, what I did was I researched what was available in the market, seeing what was there for my clients. There was nothing really there for them that they could readily take and integrate into their businesses. So essentially for the next 2 years we spent researching everything that we could, learning all about the basics of cybersecurity, what the real problem areas were, and then developed the products around that, which turned out to be awareness training, cybersecurity awareness training.
Wow.
We developed then from there these interactive courses that simplify cybersecurity down for everyday people, if you like, non-IT specialists.
Okay.
Because it's very difficult for people to engage with cybersecurity, so we designed these products to be engaging.
Okay, engaging, right, and stopping people from hacking smaller type companies, yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and how did you get into that? What's your journey?
Yeah, so in the past I used to work for a large enterprise running their business websites.
Yeah.
So as part of that, at one point there was a cyber attack.
Yep.
And then we realised that the websites needed to go through a change.
Yep.
So we had a large cybersecurity change program working with the cybersecurity team within this enterprise company.
Yeah.
And then as part of that process, I found out that I actually loved working with cybersecurity. So started to learn more and more about it. So then I could, and then at the same time, Roland was also going through a similar process.
Was it a coincidence? Or?
It was.
So it wasn't planned that you actually...
At the start it was a coincidence, but then we were talking about it and found that there was this synergy in what both of us were doing and decided that we should actually take it further.
And how many years ago was that?
So that was
2.5 years.
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago, okay.
Yeah.
So when the decision came to take it further, that meant to develop a product for it actually and become a cybersecurity company?
Yes, the decision to do this was 2.5 years ago.
Right.
More or less straight away, we knew that it was a growing market, so there was an opportunity for us to develop a scalable business.
Yeah.
And there was a need for it, and we were both in the right position actually to make those changes.
Okay, so did you contact Gary, or did Garrick, or did Gary contact you, or?
So there's actually a third co-founder called Richard, who has a technical background. So I think it was you and Richard really had that conversation about starting it.
Yes.
And then you spoke to me about it. Then I just showed a lot of interest in it as well, so kind of force my way in.
You're like, oh, that sounds
yes.
Right. And since I'm in love with cybersecurity,
yes.
So what is the part you're in love with then? Is it the kind of the?
So my part that I really love is maybe not your traditional view of cybersecurity. I think most people's traditional view of cybersecurity is maybe like a hooded teenager in their room typing away, hacking major corporations around the world. But there's also another part, which is the human side of cybersecurity, which is all about in a business or as a person at home, the practices and the way they behave online with the processes, procedures, the way that they use the internet, the way that they use their emails, that actually make them high risk. So that's the part that I really focus on, is the human side of cybersecurity. Right. So the way people behave and how to change that behavior to make them more secure.
I see. That's the one that you find fascinating.
Yes.
So it's about human psychology?
Yep, human psychology, behavior,
right, okay.
and company processes, strategy.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So since then you started 2.5 years ago with the original thought with Richard and Roland, and how did it then develop from there? What did you do? So you did the course, you said? You did the...
Well, we studied every way we could.
Yeah.
And
was there anything to be studied? Is there something like a cybersecurity course or?
There are.
There's
if you're looking at coding development and protection, there's within networked organisations, there are courses for that.
Yeah.
But our main focus, while we can provide that, our main focus has been on the human element.
Right.
And so we've developed educational programs, and essentially, if I can paint the picture this way, as children, we were all taught to cross the road safely, and our parents held our hands every day until we learned to get across the other side of the road safely.
Okay.
Then the schools reinforced that with their training. In work environments, once upon a time in the 70s and before that, health and safety wasn't much of a consideration.
Yeah.
But then it became a consideration. So, for example, if I was to get a packet of cigarettes out now, hand you a cigarette, you'd probably be quite surprised.
Yeah.
But a couple of decades ago, that wouldn't have been unlawful.
It was perfectly fine. Yeah.
Perfectly normal.
Perfectly acceptable. Yeah.
But now there's been whole cultural shifts on these issues, and this is now the turn of cybersecurity to face this cultural issue. The reason being is 90% of cyber attacks happen because of the human element.
Right, because they're letting their guard down, and they let the attack inside the corporation.
It's exactly like not being educated about road safety at all.
Right.
People are making those kinds of mistakes now with everyday operational practices inside companies, and it starts at the top.
I see. So it's not so much about, stopping hackers from hacking in because you got a massive firewall. It's about what people on the inside of the organization do to let hackers in, or whoever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I see.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So essentially you do training courses for small organization types that then educate them in what is it I need to do with my emails, what is it I need to do with my social media to keep this all safe. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, I get it. Cool. And how is it going?
It's going extraordinarily well. There's a big demand for it, obviously. The threat from hackers is growing in sophistication all the time. Artificial intelligence is about to kick in on the side of the hackers.
Oh, right. They're making use of that?
Yes.
Oh, nasty.
Yeah, very nasty.
And so a lot of what they have to do as individuals with their skill sets will be replaced by AI doing it en masse. And so one of the fastest growing areas of cybersecurity vulnerability is director level fraud and financial department fraud.
Okay, can you explain that a bit further?
Yes. Well, in terms of growth, this type of crime has grown 475% over the last 12 months.
Wow.
What it is where hackers will identify a leader in an organisation and attempt to hack into their email accounts or impersonate them to other members of staff, pretending that they are them online through emails. And if once a hacker hacks your email account, they control all communications from then on. So if they hack into a director's account, they can pretend to be that director directly. And then when people respond on the emails, the hackers can delete it before the director gets to see it. And so they don't know. They then give instructions. The hacker will give instructions to the finance department to make payments here, make payments there.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's very clever, isn't it?
Yes.
In the area we're in right now, we've had it reported that some people have lost 7 figures.
Because of somebody instructed them to transfer money to...
But it happens all the time. It's one of the fastest growing areas of fraud. So this is just one of the things that we help people with, understanding the risks of that.
So how do you do that? Because obviously the director will not know that he's been hacked until it's too late.
Yeah. It's recognising Well, first of all, it's having the best practices.
Yeah.
Just day-to-day operational practices that are non-intrusive, but just doing the right thing instead of the wrong thing. Say, like for example, don't have duplicate passwords. So if one account's hacked, the others can't be hacked.
So always have one different passwords for each individual account.
Yes,
exactly.
Okay, and then be able to manage that so it's easy enough to do and live with.
Yeah.
So this is the type of education that we give. We give people the tools to be able to do all of this as well.
Yeah.
And then also on the other side, if someone is hacked, for the people that are being conned then, say like an accounts clerk who is told to transfer the money across to a new bank account, that they also recognise that this is not quite following policy, in spite of the time pressures that come on to make a quick decision.
So they could put another layer of authorization into that, couldn't they?
Exactly.
Yes.
And then the commitment to follow that authorization, because people take shortcuts all the time.
Of course.
Especially when there's time pressures or it's an authority of an impersonated boss that's making those instructions.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what has been your biggest challenge then since creating this company?
I think the biggest challenge has been the learning curve for myself, going from working for a corporate company, moving to running your own business. If you're on your own, I think you have to think, what is your time best spent doing? And what can you give to other people to do? You have to pay for it. But what can you outsource? Because the time it saves is worth the stress and the actual growth that your business can generate. But if you're working with others, just to sit together and work out where are your strengths, and then where is your time best spent, so your company can actually grow rather than you all running around like headless chickens.
We call that working on the business rather than in the business. Growing it and making it more stable and getting more sales through the door. So actually you have a good foundation.
Exactly. So who is the best at the sales? So then they should focus on that area.
Absolutely.
Who's the best at the product developments, and they should focus on that
well, that's a really good learning you've got there. So what about you, Roland?
Well, the way I look at it, from my perspective and my experience is, there's many different ways you can categorize businesses, especially startups. But in this particular case, if you look at businesses as either lifestyle businesses or businesses that you can develop for growth. Now, a lifestyle business, people can ease into. It's something that they're really interested in. They feel like they know something, and so they slowly. It's like a kitchen table type business that they can grow up and transfer across. That's one way, and that's the way a lot of people run their small businesses. And I thought that my sales and marketing business that I developed was a growth business, but I actually ran it, and I didn't know this, but I ran it as a lifestyle business. Consequently, I ran it for a number of years, and it didn't grow, and I never understood it.
And what made you come up with this kind of explanation now, or this realization? What happened that you actually realized that this is the case?
Okay, well, the first thing was I had the idea for this business, for seeing the potential for it. And then I started to read.
Oh, okay. You educated yourself.
And I learnt about...
So what did you read?
A book called, I can't remember the author unfortunately, Exit Strategy.
Okay.
And it was about, this particular book was about taking your business from zero to selling it 3 years later.
Right.
And this guy did it with an advertising business in New York, and so you then wrote the book.
Okay.
Sorry, it wasn't Exit. From Zero to Exit is what it was.
Zero to Exit,
Okay. And so that suddenly changed all my thinking. And so our whole business is structured for this growth. The products, our marketing, our whole ethos behind that supports the rest of the business is about growth and potential for growth.
And then potential to sell it at some stage or have a passive income?
Whatever we decide to do with it later. And not necessarily to sell it, because we're actually loving the business now.
So there's no reason to sell it.
But
you can create a legacy for your son and for whoever is coming.
I'm getting to the time of life where I want to start thinking about that as well. Beginning to.
Well, same here.
And so, and so yeah, all these things are elements in that decision.
Interesting.
But so because of that, I learned as well, because of my previous business experience, I learned that if you're going to set up a business, well, first of all, if you have to ask yourself, should I do this business?
Yeah.
Then no.
Then
if you're
no.
having to ask yourself, don't.
Okay.
Okay. You've got to do the business because you feel compelled to do the business.
Right.
You feel that I have to do this.
So there's a compelling event in your life that tells you this is my journey?
Whatever your driver is,
Yeah.
it's absolutely compelling, and you've got no doubt that this is the opportunity for you.
Right.
Okay. For me, it was the potential for growth of this
Yeah.
business. I saw the need. I saw the good that it can do people,
Yeah,
and bring stability into people's business lives and so on. And there's nasty old criminals out there right around the world trying to infiltrate and destroy people's lives here. So there's a strong ethos behind what we're doing. And so I felt compelled that I needed to do this business. And so sacrificing anything that it takes, doing anything that it takes.
Actually, I think that's another learning point is you may think that there's no life support, but actually there's a huge amount of support out there.
Just need to reach
You
out.
just need to reach out. So I think that's a great point. One major piece of advice to anyone else starting a business, especially like younger people who don't have their own network yet, who don't have their own support group, is to find one.
Yeah, and reach out because
And
there's
reach
help
out
available.
because there are many people that want to help.
Yeah.
Later this month, on the 26th of February at 9:30 a.m, a plug, we have a cybersecurity event for small businesses at Portsmouth Technopole.
Okay.
And it's free.
Which is free.
It's free. And who will be talking? Is it you?
So it'll be me. It'll be me talking. I think you might chip in as well with a few anecdotes and helpful tips.
Yeah.
So you're both going together to speak at the event then, yeah?
Yes, we will be, yeah.
It's aimed at giving people a breakdown of cybersecurity so that they can take in the information and understand what they need to do. And also we give them, as Garrick said, a gift, which is a piece of software that we've developed aimed at supporting them instantly with their cybersecurity.
Brilliant.
Portsmouth University are working with us on a project which we're in the process of launching right now called Cyber Safe City.
Yeah.
And that is aimed at making Portsmouth UK's first cyber safe city.
Wow.
Portsmouth University are, as I said, are partnering with us on this project.
Yeah.
We hope to have a conference later this year on this in Portsmouth. And we'll be inviting various big name guest speakers from outside the area to come in and talk on cybersecurity. We're not sure of any kind of agenda yet with that, beyond that. But there will be a lot going on. But it's all aimed at bringing cyber awareness up across the city.
Put it into people's minds and so they act accordingly.
Exactly.
Great. Okay. Well, it's been a smashing interview and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Roland, and for you guys out there, just remember what Garrick said a moment ago about, when he started off his business and he felt quite thrown into the cold water because he didn't know really how to handle all the different hats he was wearing. So yes, there is help out there. Go and get the help, delegate some of the stuff, outsource it. And if you really want to, you can, of course, look out for, coaches and people that will help you on your journey to make it easier for you. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.